Today we're back looking at more creepy true crime TikToks.
Everyone should know about what has happened to Lauren Heike. Lauren was a 29-year-old esthetician and was hiking near her home in North Phoenix. 24 hours later, she was found murdered off a trail west of Scottsdale Road and Mile Boulevard. Almost immediately, authorities released this footage of a suspect running from the area. This person has since been identified as 22-year-old Zion Teasley. He was arrested at the Scottsdale home he shared with his mother, less than a mile from the scene. We now know that Lauren was followed and then chased down the Route 11 trail before being viciously attacked from behind. She suffered 15 stab wounds to the back and chest, but tried her hardest to put up a fight, with defensive wounds to her arms and her hands. Tragically, investigators believe that she eventually escaped, but her injuries were too severe to keep going. On the trail, police have found Lauren's belongings scattered, presumably dropped as she was running for her life. Her clothing suggested that at one point the chase went through a barbed wire fence,
Oh no.
and it was actually DNA in her shoe that led to Zion's arrest. When police submitted this DNA sample, Zion's name came up in court records. Detectives then went to his former workplace, where his ex-coworkers recognized his clothing as merchandise that had been stolen from the store. They said he'd recently been fired for being aggressive towards female employees. Zion has since admitted to detectives that, like Lauren, he frequented the area. He identified himself as the man in the footage, and when shown a picture of Lauren, said that he, quote, wanted to look like her. He also reportedly spoke about growing up as a Christian, struggling with his sexuality, and how he hadn't been with anyone in a while. Finally, we know that in 2020, Zion was charged with robbery, kidnapping, and disorderly conduct, but was listed as a medium-low risk to reoffend and got a plea deal. He was released in November of 2022 and actually met with his probation officer after the murder. Interestingly, his mother works for a local county's probation department. So as of today, Zion is listed as a flight risk with a bail set at $1 million. Obviously, this is nothing short of terrifying, and it's a case that young women everywhere need to be aware of.
I mean, that right there is just awful. First of all, how is he literally committed armed robbery and other things and he was put down as a low risk? I'm so sorry, but that is the opposite of low risk. And then something else I found was really interesting is the fact that he grew up in a Christian family and he apparently struggled with his sexuality. I've noticed that sometimes men who are gay but will not accept it and do not want to believe that they are gay can be the most misogynistic people ever. That was just so sad, and yet again, like, that's why I kind of get scared walking to areas on my own. Her case is the reason I don't hike or go on walks alone. The sad thing is as well is that you could literally be with people and the same thing could happen to you. You know, he could have easily taken 2 or 3 people out. That's just terrifying. Like, it's scary to think that she was on her own in a walk and then obviously he's jumped out. Ugh. How can someone charged with assault and kidnapping ever be considered low risk for reoffending? That's what I'm thinking. Like, I don't know what's going on with the justice system in America. It's really bad in the UK as well. It's like you could literally do the most awful things and get no time in jail. You could do something very small and be put into jail for life. I guess you could say she was also failed by justice system because there's no reason as to why that man should have been out of jail.
Stewie. Yeah? It's not your fault.
Oh wait, this is confession.
It's not your fault. I know. It's not your fault. I know.
The woman you just saw in that video, Sarah Stewart, and her husband Christopher Stewart have been arrested, and they are facing charges after their 6-year-old son died from a Benadryl overdose.
Oh.
So on social media, Sarah seems like the happiest, nicest mom around. She has tons of videos on her page, which is still up, by the way. And if you were to look at her page and scroll back a little bit, she would seem completely normal. Well, until she started posting these weird, sad, cryptic posts a few months ago. Posts like this one. Well, as it turns out, on October 30th, 2022, the day before Halloween, the police were called to their home. They claimed at the time that their 6-year-old son had fell off of a recliner, hit his head on a hard floor, and suffered an immediate seizure. That day, their child was transported to the hospital. He survived and held on a little bit longer, but he died later that night. When a search warrant was served on the couple's home, though, they discovered some disturbing things. Apparently, the family and the child were living in filthy conditions, and there had been past child abuse allegations against the parents. An autopsy of their son even showed that there were bruises on his body that were still healing at the time of his death. And the autopsy also revealed something disturbing. Their son hadn't died from falling and hitting his head on the floor. He died from a Benadryl overdose, which, if you know anything about Benadryl, is extremely hard to do. The authorities even said that their son had enough Benadryl in his body to kill a full-grown man. And after their arrest, the parents even said that they would give their son Benadryl if he was being hyperactive. It's just crazy to go on her page and see the post that she made before she was arrested. It's a crazy, crazy story. And hopefully there are some serious sentences handed out here. I know Sarah has been charged with homicide. Her husband has been charged with child neglect, but This is just a tragic story for everybody involved.
That right there is proof as to why not everyone should be allowed kids. Every single child should have parents, but not every single parent should have a child. Do they not know autopsies exist? Let's be completely honest, do they seem the smartest now? Like, they probably thought that they'd get away with it, which they wouldn't. And yet again, it's the fact that she was posting TikToks about it. Surely if you're gonna murder someone, don't post TikToks like that. You're literally just admitting to it. Confessing to a Family Guy audio was crazy, to be honest, exactly. And the thing is, she's probably shot herself in the foot. In a way, that TikTok was basically a confession to it. So it'll just be used against her.
This teenager became concerned for her ex and tried to help him. Little did she know she was about to be brutally killed.
Oh.
Lauren Asley was 18 years old from Wayland, Massachusetts. She began dating Nathaniel Fujita when the pair were in high school together. Nathaniel was a popular football player. The pair were described as being quite on and off. On the 1st of April 2011, she decided to end the relationship with Nathaniel. However, it did not go down very well at all, and his friends reported that he became depressed and withdrawn. He stopped doing things he used to enjoy doing, and he just didn't seem to care about life anymore. In summer 2011, the pair attended the same graduation party. It was reported that at the party, Nathaniel got quite jealous of when Lauren was talking to other boys. Nathaniel got quite drunk, and Lauren's mum was actually at the party, and Lauren ran up to her crying. She said that Nathaniel wouldn't leave her alone and was harassing her. Now, Nathaniel got so angry at this party that he punched the tent that everybody was in and caused it to collapse. He was then asked to leave the party. It was reported that Nathaniel started drinking quite heavily and becoming even more depressed. His mum actually got so worried about him that she reached out to Lauren. She asked Lauren if she could help and maybe speak to him, and Lauren agreed because she was concerned. Lauren agreed to chat to him and meet him at his house on the 3rd of July 2011. Tragically, she had no idea she would not leave the house alive. She texted him stating "here" and entered the house at approximately 7:05 p.m. Nathaniel lured her into the garage, slit her throat and strangled her with a bungee cord.
Oh, God.
He then drove her car to Town Beach and disposed of the keys down a drain. After running home, he put her body in his car and dumped her in a secluded area nearby. Obviously, Lauren's family got really concerned when she didn't get home. Nathaniel, as obviously the last person she was meeting up with, was reported as a suspect. Police found bloodstains in his garage and a big bag full of clothes soaked in blood. Lauren's body was found not long after. Nathaniel's defense in court stated that he was suffering a massive depressive episode and therefore should not be held criminally responsible. However, luckily he was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison.
So let me get this straight. He was going for a depressive episode, so that means he should get away with murdering his ex-girlfriend. How about now? They should charge his mum as well. To be honest, I don't know about that. I think the mother just wanted the best for her son. I don't think she thought that he would murder her. And I'm pretty sure that if she knew that was going to happen, she would stop him doing that, hopefully. On and off relationships equal toxic relationship. Per girl, rip baby girl. That's actually why I'm kind of scared of getting into a relationship. Mainly because, like, I don't want it to be on and off. You know, relationships aren't perfect. They're not amazing 24/7. There are going to be periods where you're really happy, periods where you're really angry, and it can get quite toxic. For me, I don't want to deal with that. And then it's also the fact, like, you don't know how your partner's going to react. Like, they could end up being like him. I watched this on YouTube and her parents were left devastated. They were an older couple and she was their only child. She seemed so sweet. I think that bit makes it even worse. You know, it's bad enough that that happened to somebody, but it's the fact that, like, she was an only child. That reminds me of another true crime TikTok we watched a while ago where a girl was at a club, she went home with somebody, and basically he ended up taking her life. It turns out that her parents had had loads of miscarriages and she was basically a miracle baby. And yet again, the parents lost their only child. Like, it really is heartbreaking.
This is the disturbing case of the body at the bottom of the pool. In 2011, 36-year-old Marie Joseph was enjoying a day out at a local swimming pool in Massachusetts. During the day, she actually went down a water slide and collided with a little boy. She had seemingly hit her head, and the boy decided to go and tell some lifeguards what happened. He actually told two separate lifeguards. The first one told him that he was on his break, and the second lifeguard just evidently did not follow this up.
They should be charged.
Marie's body lay on the bottom of the pool for 2 entire days. Marie's boyfriend reported that he felt like something was wrong when she was just not returning his calls or texts. What about the friends that Marie had been with at the pool that day? They realised she wasn't there anymore and they just presumed that she'd left and gone home. 2 health inspectors reportedly visited the pool and found that the water was incredibly cloudy. They believe that this played a major role in why her body was undiscovered, just laying under the water for days.
First of all, them two lifeguards should get charged. The first one was apparently on their break. That doesn't matter. If someone's hit their head, you should go and check them now. And then the second one apparently done nothing about it. To me, they should be charged like they weren't doing their job. And yet again, it's the fact that her body was down there for 2 days. Like, that's quite scary. There's been a few times where I've been in swimming pools that I've kind of had like scary experiences. Nothing like that. I remember one time I was in like a wave machine, basically where it makes like a fake tsunami. So many people were in it and like it was quite crowded. The wave came and obviously hit me, but then somebody else's body hit me and I kind of went under the water for a few seconds. And if you've ever gotten stuck underwater like that and you try to breathe it in, it is so scary. It's really, really loud underwater. Like, you just hear like a load of water sound. You don't hear sound. It's just like loud noises. And then it's the fact that you're underwater, you're holding your breath, you can't really see. Like, that right there is just a new fear of mine. I think the most disturbing part about this, she would have floated before she sunk and nobody realised. Maybe people did see her and they just assumed that she was playing dead. You know, there has been times where I've been in a swimming pool and people basically just float there. Now I'm thinking, were they dead? No one saw a body at the pool. I mean, she could have been underwater within the space of a few minutes. You basically sink whenever the oxygen's going out of you, don't you? And then it's the fact that like she was basically just sat there. Imagine you dove into that pool and then you seen the body. And then apparently the water was cloudy as well. Like, oh, that right there is just weird. Well, anyways, guys, that's a really fun video there. That's some true crime TikToks. If we see me look at more TikToks like this, then they definitely will. Respect, subscribe, and see you all tomorrow for another video.